Hello and welcome back to the caves, everybody. Welcome back to Hoxies, but this time we're going to be talking about Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core, which now I can actually talk about. I've been waiting to talk about this game since earlier this year when I went to Denmark to actually go and visit the Ghost Ship Studios, and they just released their On the Horizon stream showing some gameplay of Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core. So I'm not going to be able to talk about absolutely everything in this, but I do want to talk about it because I've been dying to talk about this for so long now. So first up, we got an intro to Rogue Core, and Rogue Core is going to be a separate game from Deep Rock Galactic. This is not going to be a different game mode. This is not going to be like a DLC for Deep Rock. This is still going to be taking place in the same universe as Deep Rock, but it's going to be its own separate game. So Rogue Core is going to be basically Deep Rock Galactic plus a rogue-lite game. So this is where your gear is going to change pretty much every time that you play it, although there will be some things that stay the same. Think of this as something similar to like Risk of Rain 2. It doesn't really play the same as Risk of Rain 2, but if you've played other games like this, you'll kind of understand the basic concepts of this. So as you can see with the gameplay in the background, it is going to feel a little bit different than DRG, but it's going to look fairly similar to DRG. It's still in the same world, it's still in the same universe, and you're still on Hoxies, so you haven't really left the planet. You're not playing as the regular dwarfs from Deep Rock Galactic, though. You are playing as the Reclaimers, which are their own kind of faction within the Deep Rock universe. They've been sent here to deal with some of the problems that the other dwarfs have already dug up. So these are more military veteran dwarfs that are here to actually clean up that problem. And along the way, they're not going to be collecting the same materials that we do in Deep Rock Galactic. You can still collect materials, but we're not going to have things like nitra in this to get resupplies. Instead, you're going to have to resupply in a different way. As well as the biomes have changed. As you can see in the background, some of these biomes do look like they're parts of Deep Rock, and that's because they're part of the planet, so it makes sense that they would be that way. However, they have been tweaked and changed, and some of them are a little bit different than what we've seen in Deep Rock Galactic. So we're going to get a whole bunch of different biomes. Not all of these are necessarily completely alien though, because a lot of these are dwarf-made facilities. So you can go inside these, you can look around them, and there is going to be already remaining mining equipment from the mining company. On top of that, we're going to be able to get upgrades for our weapons, and you can kind of see that by picking out different weapons. And this is pretty cool. I'm not sure how much I can actually say about this, because there is a lot of options that you get here, and this is kind of shared amongst the group. So this is still a 4-player co-op game, so you will all have choices on what you would like to pick. Now, I did see something on the live stream. I don't know if it ever really got answered. I might have missed that part, where some people were concerned that this would potentially lock them out of something, like if teammates wanted to lock you out of something or another, kind of troll you, which when we were in Denmark, I specifically asked Mike if you could do that, because I thought it would actually be funny to force your teammate to have to go with a particular role, but not really. The way it's set up is that everybody's going to have pretty much an equal amount of choices as to when you're going to be getting these type of upgrades. I'm pretty sure that's not really a spoiler to the game or anything. This is just to make sure that it's fair for everybody, and that's not really something you really have to worry about. Everybody should have equal opportunity to pick different things. However, you may want to pick something that benefits your teammate more so than yourself, depending on what type of build that you're going for in the game, because you're going to have a whole bunch of different builds in this game that you can go for. We also got to see the brand new ship. This is the Ramrod, and this one is really cool. This one is a spaceship, so it's not like the space rig where it's not going to be as big and open and have really tall rooms and everything. This is going to be a little bit more compact. You'll still have plenty of room to move around inside of it, and it's really cool to see it furnished, because when I got to play this, it was not fully furnished, as you would kind of expect. We got to play a very early version of this, so seeing it fully furnished like this looks awesome. I love that there's like a Lloyd here. I'm hoping that that's an Abyss bar or an equivalent to it. We've got like the gym set up over there, which is pretty cool. We've got the new drop pod for the Reclaimers, which looks awesome. It looks a whole lot more intimidating, a lot more serious because of just the way it's shaped. I really like that the ship also has a face on it. We got toilets here too, which it seemed like everybody in chat really enjoyed that. I don't think we had those when we were in Denmark. I don't think that those existed inside the Ramrod yet, and I'm definitely going to be playing around in the spaceship once we actually get it, trying to figure out how to clip out of the walls and stuff like that. You know, the normal Deep Rock stuff that you can already do. So all of that is pretty cool, but on top of that, we've also got some new stuff where we've got these new enemies, and there's quite a few of them. The new enemies look really cool. I did get to see, I think, most of these when I was there. However, they didn't quite look the same when I was there. Some of them were kind of missing skins, which I really hope that there is still an early version of the game that we gotta play, because I would really like to see somebody like Explorian or Sniz talk about the early models of these, because they're pretty interesting. They're pretty cool. But we have new enemies that we're going to be facing, and at least one familiar one with the core spawn, which we're primarily going to be fighting the core spawns in this game. So Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core does have more of a horror element to it, as much horror as you can have in the Deep Rock universe. It is a lot creepier though, where we do have some more like humanoid looking creatures, which we've got the core spawns, which we've already seen in regular Deep Rock. We've got the creepers, which are kind of like smaller versions of them. They are also pretty creepy. But these guys move differently than something like the regular grunts in Deep Rock, but fill kind of a similar role where they're going to be like the more common enemy that you're going to be fighting. Then we've got like the Scorchers, which these guys look pretty cool. I like the fire on them. I really like the fire coming out of their backs. That looks really, really awesome. They kind of spit at a distance and want to keep you on your toes while you're getting attacked, similar to like the web and acid spitters that we have in Deep Rock. We've got the Clamorhead, and this is the big boy of the core spawns, and he's pretty cool. He fills kind of like a similar role to the Praetorians, it seems like, but he's built a little bit different than them. So you're going to have to be shooting a different spot than what you usually do with the Praetorians. He looks like he has a different attack as well with his roar that he's got. We're gonna have to see how all of these play when the game fully comes out. Then we've got the Edge Stalker, which this thing looks super creepy. I really like this one. This one is gonna be kind of a freaky thing to see in the caves as it just creeps around. And it's also a ranged enemy too, and it has pretty long range. So that one's gonna be a really cool one to see. That one might be my favorite design-wise, because it looks so creepy. Then we've got two new flying enemies too, with the Thrasher and with the Rammer. The Thrasher seems to be the smaller version of this, and it's kind of like a flying squid that comes out and attacks you. It looks really cool. I really like the look of it. And then the Rammer is the giant flying squid that has really long range attacks, and he can carve through the ground too when he attacks. So this guy is really, really cool. This is probably my favorite mechanically from the creatures that we have seen so far. There is more creatures than this that are going to be coming to Rogue Core. But I mean, already just showing all of these things is super cool. And none of these looked like how they do now when I actually played the early versions of Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core. So all of them look really, really good. I absolutely love the designs here. I think it's going to be really cool once this fully releases. I can't wait to play more Rogue Core. And on top of that, they showed even more. We have two classes that they showed, this being the Slicer and the Falconeer. So Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Core is going to have different classes that you can play as, which is basically like a dwarf that has kind of the standard dwarf stuff, so you still have a pickaxe, but they have an additional ability on top of that. And we got to see two of these, with the Slicer getting an energy sword, which looks amazing. I want to play that because when I played the game, that wasn't a class you could pick. So I really want to play that one. That one looks really cool. The sword also seems to have really long reach, and I really like the crosshair on it. I love that very long line, but a very thin crosshair on it. And then we also have the Falconeer, which can send out a drone, which I did get to try out this one when we were there trying out Rogue Core. I don't remember it being able to do all the things that they showed in this though. Like being able to send this out and then call it back and move it into enemies. And that seems really, really cool. And it seems to do electricity damage. I don't remember if it did that when I first played it or if it was just regular damage. We didn't play Rogue Core for very long. We played it for maybe like 3 hours or so for like the very early versions of it. So I could just very well just not be remembering everything that I seen there. But the Falconeer is really cool. And there's going to be even more classes that they didn't show. I did get to try out some of them, and they are pretty cool too. I can't say what they are right now, but when they do come out, then I can talk a little bit more about them. And speaking of things that I can't talk about, but I really wish that I could, the guns that are in this as well, because people were asking me if there's going to be all new guns, if we're going to be getting some of the old guns, and they did kind of show that where you have things like the GK2 and the boomstick in footage here, but there is also a couple of new guns that we see here, with 3 of them in particular. Now, one of these we did actually get to see in the test against the creatures, and that one is a pretty cool gun. I enjoyed that one, as well as it does have its own unique animation. You can check this out in the footage that Ghost Ship put out too. When you're doing basically like the reload inspection that you can already do in Deep Rock. This gun though is the one that I love the most. It has the best animation in it that I think I've ever seen in Deep Rock. Maybe one of my favorite animations in any game, and they haven't shown it yet, so I can't tell you what it is, but it is incredible. It's probably going to be my #1 used weapon for no other reason than I just really love the weapon inspect animation. This is so cool seeing all this stuff come together for Rogue Corps and them actually being able to show this to people, because myself and a few other DRG content creators like Drilling in the Name of, Snis, Lazy Maybe, Explorian, Dwarf Furious, and Mist all got to check out this stuff like months ago. And I've been wanting to talk about it since then. And actually being able to see the footage is so cool. I'm definitely looking forward to Rogue Corps, even more so than I already was. I thought the game was awesome when I got to play it then, and I was looking forward to all the polish that is going to be put on it, because even the very experimental version that we got to play still worked really well. It was buggy and it was a little bit weird because not everything was actually functional in it, but it was functional enough. And if you've ever seen half the games that I play, that's usually the type of things that I enjoy, is when they're functional enough, but there's kind of weird stuff going on in the background. So this is really cool. There was some other important announcements too that were made on Ghost Ship, like the new upcoming games. Dark Swarm, I'm really looking forward to. Spell Rogue is getting a new update, as well as DRG Survivor, which are 2 very fun games. I play them a bunch. As well as we got more information on Dino Lords. They released the DRG merch shop, so if you're looking for something for holiday presents, I'd absolutely check out this, where you've got new shirts, you got pins, you got stickers, you've got a loot bug piggy bank, which looks fantastic as well. And on top of that, Scorched Steel Studios is going to be releasing a Kickstarter campaign for the new DRG mugs, which I've been wanting to talk about this for a very long time, because Mist, the lead designer of this, that I got to meet in Denmark, he's a really cool guy, and I really wanted to pitch these kind of early. I wanted to shout him out early, because I thought these were really cool, and I wanted these type of mugs, especially with him showing me all the stuff that he's worked on, and it just looks so cool. But they weren't really in production at the time when we first got back, so sadly I couldn't talk about it, but now I can. So definitely check out Mist stuff. He makes incredible things. He also made the Bosco statue that the devs have on their desk in pretty much all of these live streams as well. Once this actually goes live, I'll be sure to put a post up here, and I'll probably mention it in a couple of videos, so that you can actually go to the Kickstarter campaign. It's definitely worth it in my opinion. And I think that'll kind of do it. I kind of wanted to make this video kind of short, talking about everything here. Once we get more information about Rogue Corps, or more information about any of these games, I'm probably going to be doing more videos talking about them, whether it be more on Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Corps, or regular Deep Rock, or even DRG Survivor and some of the other games, like Spell Rogue, which I actually really like the game, but I've never made any videos or streams about it, but I have 50, 60 hours in the game. I've played it a bunch. So definitely things to look forward to in the coming year. We're going to be potentially getting the closed beta, closed alpha, for Deep Rock Galactic Rogue Corps in Q2 of next year, and then the early access release in Q4 of next year. So it's going to be a little ways off from actually getting these things, but I am definitely looking forward to it. Tell me your thoughts on Rogue Corps. How do you enjoy it? And are you excited for some of these things like I am? Because there's going to be a lot of changes in this game compared to something like Deep Rock. So thank you guys so very much for watching this. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye!